Red light.
Matthew, say the date.
What?
Say the date.
5th, 27th, 98. What?
Because I'm recording.
This one.
but I didn't know I was going to be giving the opening, so this isn't exactly a proper opening. You'll have to forgive me for that. Alright, well here we are, the graduating class of 1998. I thought this day would never come, but now that it's here, I sort of wish it would just go away. I don't want to start paying for college. I thought rather than writing a long speech, I would read you 3 short stories pertaining to the future. They all have to do with being responsible for your actions and having respect for God, your fellow man, and yourself. The first story is about the Seattle Special Olympics. It is called Linked Together, and I found it in my church bulletin. A few years ago, at the Seattle Special Olympics, 9 contestants, all physically or mentally disabled, assembled at the starting line for the 100-yard dash. At the gun, they all started out, not exactly in a dash, with a relish to run the race to the finish and win. All that is, except one boy who stumbled on the asphalt, tumbled over a couple of times, and began to cry. The other 8 heard the boy crying. They slowed down and looked back. Then they all turned around, every one of them, and went back. One girl with Down syndrome bent down and kissed him and said, "That will make it all better." Then all 9 linked arms and walked together to the finish line. Everyone in the stadium stood, and the cheering went on for several minutes. Why? Because people deep down know this one thing. What matters in this life, more than winning for ourselves, what truly matters in this life is helping others win, even if it means slowing down and changing our course. We must be willing in our future to help others and be responsible for our actions. The second story is called The Starfish. It teaches how we can make a difference in the world, one person at a time. While walking along a beach, a man saw someone in the distance leaning down, picking something up and throwing it into the ocean. As he came closer, he saw thousands of starfish, the tide had thrown onto the beach. Unable to return to the ocean due to low tide, the starfish were dying. He observed a young man picking up the starfish one by one and throwing them back into the water. After watching this seemingly futile effort, the observer said, "There must be thousands of starfish on this beach. It would be impossible for you to save all of them. There are simply too many. You can't possibly save enough to make a difference." The young man smiled as he continued to pick up another starfish and toss it back into the ocean. "It made a difference to that one," he replied. The last story talks about respect and how, no matter what, we should be proud of the gifts God has given us. It is written by J.W. Johnson. Imagine the following conversation. "What is that in your hand?" asked the Lord. "A sling," said David. "It is enough. Go up against the giant." And the great giant Goliath fell before the shepherd boy. "What is that in your hand?" "A pen," said John Bunyan. "It is enough." And he wrote the story Pilgrim's Progress, which will live as long as the world endures. Don't sell yourself short. If God has called you to a task, He'll equip you for it. He merely asks, "What is that in your hand?" Use what He has given you, no matter what it may be, and you'll see what He can do with the little things. We should never degrade ourselves because we believe someone else's talent is greater than our own. The fact that we are here, now, receiving our diploma, proves that we are special. God has given each of us abilities, and He will equip us for the task. We are the future. We will make tomorrow. If we have respect for Jesus, our country, our fellow human beings, and ourselves, if we are willing to be responsible for our actions and to help others, it will be a very great tomorrow indeed. In closing, I would like to say that up until this year, there was a 4-way tie for valedictorian. These other 2 students should be giving a speech just as Mary Carol, Maza, and I are. David Porter and Anthony Scott, you guys please stand up. You deserve special recognition. Thank you, and may God bless the Hickman Mills graduating class of 1998.
I just wrote this speech about 2 hours ago, so it's not very long. Before I begin, I would like to thank all the parents, relatives, and friends for coming tonight. On behalf of the National Honor Society, I would like to take a few moments to discuss the characteristics that pertain to all the members of the Honor Society. The first principle of the National Honor Society is scholarship. Scholarship is a commitment to learning. student is willing to spend hours in reading and studying, knowing the lasting benefits of a cultivated mind. We should continue to learn even when formal education has ended. Knowledge is one great element in life that leads to the highest success, and it can be acquired in only one way, through diligence and effort. Candidates have the ability to continually expand their world through opportunities provided by scholarship. The next principle is service. In the routine of a day's work, many opportunities arise to help others. Willingness to work for the benefit of those in need without monetary compensation or without recognition is a quality we seek in our membership. We are committed to the idea of volunteering our time and abilities to the creation of a better tomorrow. The third principle is leadership. Leadership should exert a wholesome influence on the school. In taking the initiative in class and in school activities, the real leader strives to influence and to aid others to attain this same objective. The price of leadership is sacrifice, willingness to give one's personal interests for the interests of others. The final, and in my opinion, most important principle of the National Honor Society is character. Character is the force within each individual that distinguishes that person from others. Without it, no one can respect oneself, nor hope to gain the respect of others. By demonstrating the qualities of reliability, honesty, and sincerity, we may hope to prove by example that we value character. In conclusion, I would like to congratulate everyone on their accomplishments and to express my gratitude for all the sacrifices everyone has made throughout the year. I would also like to thank our sponsor, Ms. Marshall O'Connor, for her help and guidance. Will the senior members of the National Honor Society please stand and be recognized? Thank you. I would now like to introduce the top 10 students of the class of 1998, starting with our two valedictorians, Melody Gibeson and Mary Carol Nelson.
Way to go, Melody.
Our salutatorian is David Fortnett. Followed by Serena Bagwell. Kevin Brenneman. Anthony Scott Hill. Allison Ryan. Gina Campbell. My best friend, Joey Beckley. Aaron Giamalva. And Amy Smith. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Carrie Tucker, and it's my pleasure to introduce the stage guest for tonight's commencement. First we have Mr. Charles Green, Principal. Ms. Lynn Gordon, Assistant Principal. Mr. David Anstad, Coordinator and Principal of Code and Lab. We have Dr. Jerry Cooper, District Superintendent. Excuse me if I go out of order. Mr. John Dean, Associate Superintendent of Business. Mr. Jim Feuerborn, Assistant Associate Superintendent. Dr. Sharon Rushleg, Associate Superintendent of Instruction and Human Resources. And we also have Dr. Marge Williams, Associate Superintendent of Elementary Education. Now I'd like to introduce Mr. George Flesher,
This time I would like to introduce to you your Board of Education. Board Vice President Gary Twigg. Mrs. Teresa Edens. Mrs. Ann Gregory. Mr. Don Hoskins. Mr. David O'Neill. Mrs. Jan Lane. This is an especially fulfilling evening for us on the board because it wasn't that long ago that we stood in over at Irvin Junior High and stood in on the completion ceremonies, which most of you attended. Good luck and thank you very much.
Rats, I can't get them.
Why not?
Too dark.
How's your battery going?
I'm half right now.
At least you guys do.
This is the choir going up right now.
Yeah.
Trying to get as much as I can from Mel. This monster's heavy.
Most of this group will be going to New York tomorrow, I think.
A lot of them, yeah.
Take a charter bus. Lots and lots of gas, you don't stop, they got bathrooms. TVs.
Okay, let's see if I can get them all in.
In the interest of time, however, we have decided to limit ourselves tonight to the class highlights of our years in high school. In 1994, most of us began as freshmen at Hickman. We were smacked with the realization that we had 4 long years to wade through in a school with no windows. In spite of the lack of sunlight, we managed to grow and accomplish many things. Beginning our journey with us were several new teachers that year. Ms. Ramirez, Ms. Gray, Ms. Beitzen, Ms. Cusick, and a new counselor, Ms. Ruby Brown. The first year of our high school experience was filled with many triumphs. Our marching band was at its best, placing at the top of every competition. Winter Guard was named 16th best in the nation. Concert band and freshman orchestra both received superior ratings at the State Music Festival, and as always, our track team was impressive, as they modeled their running style after the main character in that year's Best Picture, Forrest Gump. Along with the triumphs came moments of fear, shock, and passion for our new school. Early on that year, our district began telling us of the many cuts and programs at our school if a bill for a new levy didn't pass. We would lose many sports, clubs, and classes that could make or break our high school careers. In the first election, the levy didn't pass. So the following day, most of the school participated in a sit-in in protest. The sit-in turned into a walkout, and in the next election, our community passed the levy, saving our sports, music, and many of our favorite teachers' jobs. Later that year, we were all shocked to be taken outside for 3 hours on a cold Tuesday due to a bomb placed in a gym locker. Well, all right, we were taken outside due to some road flares and a watch placed in the gym locker. This was a particularly proud moment for our class, since it was, in fact, a freshman who caused the uproar. Another incident that put Hickman in the paper was the attack on our freshman girls basketball team. After a hard game, which we won, a friend of the opposing team drove next to the bus and opened fire. Fortunately, none of our girls were hit, but everyone carries that memory to this day. After the many trials of our freshman year, we became strong as individuals, but even stronger as a class. In the year 1995, the class of 1998 came up in the world. No longer could we be classified with the terrifying label of freshmen, but a new label of sophomore was bestowed on us. Newcomers we could be considered no longer, but there were many teachers whose presence at Hickman was new to us all. These teachers were Mr. Rupert, Miss Byron, Captain Gibson, Miss McDougall, Mr. Criling, Mr. McCall, Miss Gurney, Mr. Stairs, and Mrs. Johnson. There's a lot this class can be proud of when looking back at the 1995-96 school year. We all had high hopes and put all of our efforts into supporting our football team as they made their way to the semifinals to play a hard-fought game in Camden, Missouri. They fought as hard as the soldiers in that year's #1 movie, Braveheart. But there we experienced our first great defeat of the year, finishing with a record of 10-3 and an awesome ranking of 3rd in the state. The year went on and the wrestling season came, and our hopes were high again. This time pressure was on for a member of our very own class. Lee Gatlin had pinned his way to victory after victory. He showed just what this class is made of when he crushed his opponent in the state wrestling competition and became a Missouri State wrestling champion. There are some things we will never forget about our sophomore year, like the fact that our float won first place in the homecoming float competition that year, or the fact that one day we all got to leave school early because storms knocked out all the power in the building. We'll never forget the sudden change that occurred in the cafeteria lunch system that year. We were all quite baffled when we couldn't buy a lunch without memorizing the seemingly pointless number. The many antics that we had experienced thus far in our high school career set us up for many challenges in the year to follow.
Well, after the many mishaps of our freshman and sophomore years, our junior year seemed pretty tame in comparison. Yet the 1996-97 school year was a time with big things for us, especially in the areas of adjustments, class first, school events, and fears. Now first the adjustments. As a class, we had to adjust to the largest amount of new teachers ever to grace the halls of Hickey High. Now, after 2 years of getting used to familiar faces, we had to learn a whole new staff, the way they taught, and what excuses we could use and what would work to get us out of class with those new party books that they so wonderfully provided for us. Now, I'm not saying that any of us here tonight ever use those excuses, no. These teachers would include Mr. Wright, Ms. McCready, Ms. Nelson, Mr. Wolf, Ms. Darter, Mr. Vincent, I'm almost done, Coach Herbst, Mr. Hedeke, Ms. Andrews, Ms. Beery, Ms. Pitter, Ms. Hubert, Ms. Melius, Ms. Erickson, Ms. Marduk, and Mr. Hall, who came back from going to a summit school. But we're going to talk about Mr. Hall later. Now, being juniors, we had to adjust and were among the first to experience the wonderful world of block scheduling. Let us not forget the mad chaos of seminars. My, how we have come to love an hour and a half of doing nothing. Another big first for our class would be the introduction of the Kiss and Kid contest. Now, remember I talked about Mr. Hall, who came back to teach in our wonderful school. Well, thanks to our girls' basketball team and the juniors on the squad last year, Mr. Hall was welcomed home by winning that contest. He was granted the privilege of smacking Frenchie the pig with a big wet one on the snout at one of our many spirited assemblies. Because of the overwhelming success, this is now an annual event. Thank you, Mr. Hall. Last year, as juniors, we made history concerning the biggest and the best ever in our school records. We had the most snow days, we had 5 when we were out of school. It's wonderful. And kudos go out to Lee Gatlin, Chad Dorrington, and Earl Kazan. All three of these young men impressed us not only with their huge rippling muscles, but also because they were our state qualifiers in wrestling. Our cheers could be heard all over the city due to the Spirit Club and its largest membership ever and its outstanding participation. We cheered so hard we took the boys' basketball team to the sectionals last year. Okay, maybe their talent had something to do with it, but our cheering was mostly it. And also, did you know that our food drive to help out the officers was the biggest ever done by our school? Definite patch on the back. With the approaching of the end of our junior year, there came the approaching of many fears. First, we started to hear about this Ruth lady who locked kids in the closets and made them eat, sleep, and bleed history. Come to find out some of that was true. And then there was a fear of how the world we're going to pay for all these college classes. But then they took some of this back, so that wasn't a problem. And then there was the anticipation of weighted grades and how we were going to boost our GPA. But they took that back too, so we're not bitter at all. But hey, as the biggest fear of all was that taking the responsibility of being the new leaders in school. Now we were the captains of the teams. We were the presidents of the clubs. We were the leads in the play. Yet as juniors, in the year of 1996-97, we maintained our status of coolness. Look how far we've come tonight. Congratulations.
Senior year. After 3 years of waiting, school was finally ours. The senior class took on the fun and responsibility of leading this school to be its best. With a year of block scheduling under our belts, we now understood that seminar was the time to get things done. Club meetings, makeup tests, and rehearsals claimed our meetings. But with all our work, we still had some time for fun. Seniors participated in productions of Anything Goes, The Talent Show, and Mr. HMHS. The national and state level saw a lot of Hickman Mills this year. The hikers went to nationals in Orlando, Florida. And 3 members of the forensics team will compete at nationals next month. 2 seniors qualified for the state wrestling tournament, and the boys basketball team again made it to sectionals. The concert choir leaves tomorrow morning for New York to sing at Carnegie Hall. The track team will also compete at state. This year was the first year for the computer babies. Many of our classes were interrupted by the wailing of these plastic infants. Our class was the first one to proudly wear our school colors at graduation. After hundreds of votes and re-votes, our Hickman spirit shines through. In the cafeteria, changes rocked the student student body. For the first time in 4 years, students were now limited to only 1 carton of French fries per meal. If we wanted 2, it was, yes, you guessed it, extra. Not to mention, switch from the blue packed plastic forks to those white flimsy things. That pains me. The lights went out again this year, and as we gathered in the big gym, discussions of movies filtered through the air. The movie seen by most was also the best picture of the year, Titanic. The lights went out again this year. To the new teachers this year, Mr. Bishop, Mr. Durbin, Mr. Hernandez, Ms. Lytle, Ms. Howe, Ms. Heiss, Ms. Thomas, and Mr. Richardson, take care of this school that means so much to us. We know that you will continue to push on to new levels. As for the class of 1998, thank you for all the memories. We have more than left our mark on Hickman Mills. We have set a precedent for others to follow. Thank you.
What we call the beginning is often the end. And to make an end is to make a beginning. The end is where we start from. T.S. Eliot wrote these words in the early 1900s. Today, May 27, 1998, we have gathered to celebrate an end. The end of our years as students at Hickman Mills High School. The end of the daily routine that we have come to know over the last 12 or 13 years. The end of familiar faces at every turn in the hallway. However, we are also celebrating a beginning. The beginning of whatever lies beyond the walls of the school that we have come to know and love. For many, this future is unknown, but we are all dying to discover it. As each of us embarks on this journey, this new beginning, we must all remember that although our years at Hickman have ended, we will carry the lessons that we learned there in our minds and hearts forever. These lessons are the tools that we have been offered to make our new beginning a bit easier. Compassion, respect, understanding, creativity, task commitment, dedication, and open-mindedness are only a few of the skills that Hickman has taught us. This is our base, our ground to build on. We will ever be thankful and grateful to our teachers and other role models for this sturdy foundation. Now, it is our duty to go out into the world, continue to grow and to learn, continue to explore. T.S. Eliot beautifully summarizes this attitude for us in the conclusion of his poem, 4 Quartets. We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started, and to know the place for the first time. 4 years ago, we ended a frightening 3-year journey called junior high and set off for high school. Throughout our 4 years in high school, we tried new things, experienced new feelings, traveled to new places, and learned many lessons. Today, we are able to look back on those years and see how we have grown and changed, while at the same time reflecting on the many lessons we have learned. Yet, today, we find ourselves in the same spot that we were 4 years ago. We have grown older and a bit wiser. We better understand ourselves and what we want from this world, what our dreams and aspirations have become. Now, we follow these into the future, into new ends and new beginnings, into the discovery of our place in this great wide world. Today, after this evening is over, I challenge each of us to continue exploring, to embark on new journeys of both the mind and the body, to store and carry with us all of life's lessons, and to keep an open mind to what the world has to offer. I challenge everyone to use the skills that the journey at Hickman has taught us as stepping stones on the journey that lies ahead. These challenges call us to show compassion for self as well as compassion for others, to respect all people no matter what their place or status in life, to commit to bettering the community in which we live, to dedicate time and energy towards making the world a better place for our having been a part of it. The future belongs to those who believe in the power of their dreams. This is our senior class motto, and I believe that each one of us has the potential, the strength, and the dedication to make all of our dreams come true.
Officers of the senior class and the senior class together for inviting me to be a part of your commencement ceremonies. This is the kind of evening that stirs emotions in most of us. Differing emotions, melancholy for some. I see tears in the eyes of some of the seniors as they think back